It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
2, 3, 4 for the final time.
Win number 1 of the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the NOFSRL Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
The Concrete Canyon, the Monster Mile, White Lightning, Dover Downs. Welcome to the Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware, in the first state. We are here on a beautiful sunny Saturday for race number 13 of 32 in season number 3 of the NOFSRL Cabela's Cup Series. We're here for the Keystone Foods 400, and the last 2 seasons here at Dover, we have seen incredible finishes. The races have been alright, but the end of these races is really where the action comes into play. We saw a brilliant final 5 laps in Season 1 with Stephen Colon able to get around Jacob Ritz and holding off a hard-charging Eric Jacks to get his first and so far only win in the Cabela's Cup Series. And last season, it was an absolute thriller. That final lap will be remembered for all the history that this series will ever produce. Colton Yeo taking advantage of a slow car holding up Trey Wright and getting by on the inside and scoring the victory in what was then the CN Rail 400. Coming into this race, the man who Colton Yeo just barely edged out is going to start from the pole position on the inside of Andrew Miller, and it's going to be a wild one here for sure in the Concrete Canyon. Coming into this race points-wise, it's Will Parrish who is leading the point standings, 25 points to the championship, or 350 points to the championship, 25 points ahead of Sam Oskin, 26 ahead of Darian Arnsdorf, 30 ahead of Sophia Fragniti, 31 ahead of Trey Smith, 33 ahead of Alexander Rowe, 46 ahead of Eric Monaco, 57 ahead of Benny Watson, 62 ahead of Titan Nicholas, and 64 over Texas winner Ben Crouch. We're set for a fantastic one here at Dover, so let's get this pace lap going. And we're going to get these cars rolling off here off the pit road. Trey Wright leading off the pole position there in car number 90. He is starting this one alongside Andrew Williams in the 35. In row number 2, we find Nathan Stapleton in car number 97. He's starting this one alongside car number 2, Ben Young. In row number 3, it is Joshua Harrison in the 91, starting alongside car number 32 of Beverly Creed. In row number 4, it's Mitchell Collins alongside Nathan Smith in the 84. And rounding out the top 10, it's Andrew Williams and Titan Nicholas. That's the field here. That's the top 10 of the field here at Dover. We are ready to get this one started. It's going to be a fun one here at the Monster Mile. Pace car getting ready to come down onto the pit road. And there it goes. Field coming around turn 3 and 4 to get the green flag. Waiting for it to fly. The Keystone Foods 400 is green here at Dover. Out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Trey Wright still staying ahead. Andrew Miller trying to get the dive on the inside, going in car number 35. He's peeking to the inside coming out of turn 4, but Wright will lead lap number 1. 2 and 3 wide all throughout the field behind him. That is getting sketchy there for sure. But it's a 4-car breakaway up front. Trey Wright, Andrew Miller, Nathan Stapleton, and Joshua Harrison. Wright's going to slide wide. Here comes Andrew Miller down to the inside. It took about 55 laps last season, if I remember right, to get a lead change. It's not quite going to happen just yet. But boy, Miller got close there on the inside. Wright got an excellent jump coming out of turn number 4 there and pulls away mightily ahead of Andrew Miller, who is going to surely try to draw the New Jersey native back in. Too wide there for the second position coming out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Stapleton moves to the third position. Collins to fourth. Harrison from third to fifth. And that little shenanigan. And speaking of shenanigans, look at all this. 3 wide there with Dan Park, Cologne, and Eric Monaco. You'd think they were racing for the lead the way they're going, but no, that is only for 30th place. But give it to Eric Monaco as that breaks up. Now here comes an uncharted driver, Igor Barreto, to the inside of Rosero and Cologne. Up front, the gap for the lead shrinking. 0.8 the difference as Miller is right pressed against the backside of Trey Wright. No pun intended. Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Trey Wright sliding up. Miller does too. Stapleton, could he be right there on the inside? Miller almost got to the inside of Trey Wright. We'll see if he can do it again. Trying to peek down low. Move Trey up. Out of turn 2. Side by side for the lead. All it took was 6.5 laps. Andrew Miller to the lead here at Dover. He slides up. Here comes Stapleton to the inside. Is he there down low? He was for a second, but not now. Good grief. Racing here early on is ridiculous. Stapleton still pressed against the backside of car number 35. Miller gonna stay glued on that inside. And we'll see anything on the front straightaway here. No. So they will play it safe, headed off into turn number 1, with the exception of Collins going by Stapleton there for second. 3 wide back here for the 6th position, no, 5th position actually, as Watson's going to take that from Andrew Williams. Trey Wright slips backwards into the 7th position there. And we're singled out through the first about 13 positions before we get back here. Here's second place points man Sam Oskin going after Daisy Johnson in the 15. Speaking of the points, let's take a look at your points leader coming in here. Will Parrish in the 0. Sits in the 35th place right now, roughly. So he didn't qualify very good, though. So just not a very good run to start off here for Parrish. But he is slowly but surely working his way up there. He's in 34th now. Well, it's better than 35th. 1 point difference, but it's still, I guess, better. But anyway, checking back in up front. Andrew Miller still leads here at Dover. Collins second. Stapleton going to take a look at Collins for that second position. Collins stuck on the top side, and there is no top line here at Dover. The line is always going to be on the inside, with the exception of the straightaway. The top side, you could get a run coming out of the turn if you're still side by side with someone, but when you get to the turns, you better be on that inside. So it's Miller, Stapleton, Harrison, Watson, and Collins. That is the top 5 right now here at Dover International Speedway. Harrison took a look down low on Stapleton, not quite able to get there in the 91. Miller is liking all this shuffling going on because it's allowed him to pull away. Now we're going to have a dodge-on-dodge battle for 5th, are we? Not quite. Williams stays in behind Mitchell Collins in the 59. Stapleton starting to close in that 97. He's trying to run down Andrew Miller in the 35. I'd make an Inspector Gadget joke, but I don't think anybody would get it. To the inside, here comes the big Staple. Down to the inside, looking for the race lead here at the Monster Mile, and he's going to take it away from Andrew Miller. Miller slips to the second position, and now he's in the clutches of his teammate Benny Watson, the two-time winner this season. But 2 Velocity cars in the top 5, that is pretty good. All 4 started inside the top 15 in this race, if you can believe that. The lowest running one right now, I believe, is wherever in the world. Well, Ethan Lewis is in 10th, actually. So actually, the lowest running one right now would be Daisy Johnson. And car number 15 is in 37th. So Johnson has fallen back big time in this one. And now Watson and Miller are going to go side by side. These guys are actually really good friends in real life. And teammates here in the Cabela's Cup Series. Watson's going to slide up. Miller's going to cut back down low. Watson will hold on to the second position for now. On the edge of 3 wide behind coming out of corner number 4. Lewis looked like he was going to get to the inside of Creed, as Creed and Reynolds are side by side. That is for 8th on track. Give it to Beverly Creed in the 32. What a race we are seeing so far here at Dover. Of course, we get later on into this run. Expect a pit cycle if we go green around lap 40 to 45 or so. Somewhere around that area. Ideally, they should be able to split this race almost perfectly even. So, Stapleton is up front leading this thing. He would be, if pit cycles happen right now, I would say he'd be in the best position to get off first. And if this was only a 60-lap race, like it was in Season 1, we'd kind of be closing in on the pit cycles right about in the next 10 laps because of the way it was back then. Watson closing in on that 97, though. He's not letting him get away that easy. Watson has had an up-and-down season. That's not going to shield from the fact that he is in the top 10 in points. 2 wins already this season for Benny Watson. In his first season back in the Cabela's Cup Series since Season 1. Had a solid Season 1 after entering the series, missing the first 4 races, I think it was. Just the first 4 races. But Atlanta onwards, he didn't have a very good Atlanta. I think he crashed out, actually. He didn't have a terrible season. So, the fact that he is doing as well as he is this season, I don't really think should be a surprise at all. As we look through the rest of the field, this guy, as of recent, has been completely out of order. Roy Revelton in the 81 has been an absolute wreck magnet as of recent, and it's either been him getting caught up in wrecks, causing a wreck, and himself being involved in it, or otherwise. But up front for the lead, I just saw it while we were talking about Revelton as he was coming out of corner number 4. Saw this. Watson got to the inside of Stapleton, and he's going to take the lead away. Benny Watson to the point here at Dover, and his teammate Andrew Miller are going to try to get to the inside of Nathan Stapleton as well. A lot of overtaking going on here early on at Dover, more than I would have expected, more than I had expected coming in. That's our 4th lead change already. Well, fourth different leader anyways. 3rd lead change. Miller slides a little wide there, so the tires are starting to wear off as we get later and later on in this green flag run. Watson now to a 1.19 second gap as Miller and Stapleton were side by side. Now that they're not side by side, surely they can close in on him. Still under the green flag conditions here at Dover. Miller sliding a little wide. Stapleton, could he get down there to the inside? Yes, he will. Stapleton on the low line, headed into turn number 1. And he is going to take second position away from Andrew Miller once again. Will Miller get freight trained now as Collins and Owen Miles are right there? No, he will not. He will hold on to that third position and get back to that inside line. Collins up the track a little bit. Miles doesn't get underneath him. Collins going to look to the inside of Andrew Miller, though, headed off into turn number 1. Miller stuck on that outside line. He could lose fourth to Owen Miles as well. Miles going to train in behind Mitchell Collins. And yes, Miller will fall from 3rd to 5th, and maybe even worse if Andrew Williams gets up there. But it's almost a 2-second lead for Benny Watson. 1.6 roughly seconds there. Stapleton actually closed in a 10th, I think, that time by. We're just a handful of laps away from pit cycles, and it's Team Velocitar's Benny Watson in the silver Patron car up front leading this thing. At an average race speed of 148.203 miles per hour. Of course, it is dipping as a result of the slower lap times now, as later on into this run, you can just tell everyone's running slower just with all the tire wear off they've had. That's exactly what's causing this. But now let's take a look at your points leader once again and how his day's going. 29th position for Will Parrish. Not a fantastic run, really, at all for the driver in that 0. But in fairness, he did not qualify good at all. He's just trying to make the most of it. 31 laps through here at Dover. Stapleton and Watson's gap, 1.92 seconds, almost 2 seconds. Watson's just smooth sailing up front right now. It's going to be a battle for 4th with Miller and Collins going at it again. And give it to Miller. No slow traffic to speak of. So we should be good. Make it to pit cycles as Buck. Big damage on the right side of that 4. Might have got turned into the wall at some point on the outside. But anyway, it is still a Watson runaway right now. Stapleton second, Miles, Miller, Collins. On to lap 34 here in the Keystone Foods 400. A surprisingly clean race here at Dover. But it has been an interesting one for sure. Williams and Davenport going to go side by side there. That's for 8th place. Williams will hold on to it, as the gap up front is 2.34 seconds. Watson ahead of Stapleton. Then Owen Miles, Andrew Miller, Mitchell Collins, the top 5. Joshua Harrison, Beverly Creed, Andrew Williams, Charlie Davenport, and Kip Silverpoint, the top 10. Silverpoint, a surprisingly good run there in the 10th position, the reigning Scots National Series champion. Looking for, I believe, her first top 10 of the season here in Cabela's. Having a solid run so far, moving up to the 9th position in that 68. And on to lap 37 we go. It's still Watson leading by 2.29 seconds over Stapleton. And I would venture to say that we're just cruising to pit cycles at this point, which could be coming any time within the next handful of laps. I don't believe anybody came down that time. But it's Watson Up front, we'll go on board with Stapleton real quick. There you see the gap. Watson coming out of turn 4. Stapleton's just now exiting turn 4. 2.09 seconds the difference. We'll see if Stapleton can close into him. It would have to be when we have pit cycles here, which again could be coming up sooner rather than later. We are halfway done, I believe, here at Dover. 1 lap away from halfway. Working lap 40 right now. And as they come around for halfway this time by here at Dover, how about a little crank it up? On to lap 42 we go. Watson still leads by 1.12 seconds ahead of Stapleton. Miles slid a little wide there out of turn 2. Settles into the 3rd position still. Miller, Collins, Harrison, Davenport, Creed, Lewis, and Josiah Robinson. That's the top 10 right now here at Dover. And waiting for the first pit cycle to happen. Should be coming up very, very shortly. Watson working that inside very, very slowly. And now we will see some drivers come down onto the pit road. Mitchell Collins, Joshua Harrison, Beverly Creed, Ethan Lewis, Trey Wright, Andrew Williams, Brad Stover, Ben Crouch, Keegan Thompson, Samad Oskin, Sophia Fragniti, Christian Vargas, Nathan Smith. Now we will see the leader, Benny Watson, come down on to the pit road, as well as likely everyone else. Or pretty close to everyone else anyways. Here goes Sebastian Kukulon. Who I believe has already pit. Collins out the pits first. Then Harrison, Lewis, Creed. We gotta watch for Watson though, because he's the one with the massive lead. There he is coming off of the pit road. And there's Stapleton. This is going to be a huge lead. I don't know about Sophia Fragniti though. We'll have to see. I guess we'll have to see where this 38 ends up. Because this, I don't know, this might be over here. 1.87 seconds, that's the difference. Mitchell Collins is second. Watson, look out for the pit traffic. Oh, Hightower almost coming off the wall there as Watson gets to the inside. 1.4 seconds the difference between Watson and Collins. But of course, Collins has 3 lap cars in front of him. Watson could be able to pull away big time here at Dover. Coming around for lap 48. 33 laps to go. 1.19 seconds the difference. Fragniti slips a little wide, Young a little wider, Collins a little closer. I really don't know who is going to win this race. I would venture to say Watson's going to get win number 3 on the season. But you know what? Anything could happen here. As seen last season, if you don't remember, with Colton Yo running down Trey Wright, getting caught up by the lap car of Jamison Thole. And the lap car got to the inside of Trey Wright, and Colton Yo was able to get by Trey Wright for his first and only win here in the Cabela's Cup Series. Could we see a repeat of last season with Benny Watson here and Mitchell Collins? He's got Fragniti, Hightower, and Ben Young behind him. I'd venture to say if one goes, they all go. By they, I'm referring to the lap cars going underneath Watson. Watson runs a little wide there. Fragniti, Hightower right there. In behind the 53. Young just in front of Collins, who slips just a little bit. Watson's going to go a little wide. Will Fragniti get down to the inside? Yes, she will. Uh-oh. Not only Fragniti, but Joey Hightower as well. That's going to allow Ben Young to close in for sure. And what about Mitchell Collins? Watson still on the top side. Ben Young down low in that 2. And he's there, coming off of corner number 4. And now Collins will close in big time. Half a second the difference. Watson still on the top side, got to get down low. Collins closing big time in car number 59. Of course, no pit stops to worry about for the rest of this race. They can drive as hard as they want. The top 2 cleared by 2.19 seconds over Nathan Stapleton, and they're left to battle this out amongst themselves unless Stapleton closes in. He just took that from 2.19 to 1.97, so we will have to see what happens. Collins slipped big time there. Watson with a bigger lead coming around this time, albeit still being held up by lap traffic. .27 to .44 though. That's what you want if you're Benny Watson. And that is not what you want if you're Mitchell Collins. .24 laps to go. Watson to the inside of Young. Ben Young gives him room on the inside. Watson will get on by. Will Collins be able to close in? Collins is going to go to the inside of the 2. Is he going to have that inside line coming out of turn 4 to get by? Looks like he will. But he's going to lose some time. And Collins gets chopped by Ben Young going off into 1. Not able to keep that inside line. While this is going on, take a look through the rest of the field here. Ben Crouch in the 74, 12th place on track right now, working on Velocity driver Ethan Lewis in the 51. This is for 11th on track. Texas winner is going to take it to the inside there and take the spot away from Ethan Lewis. And the championship leader, 27th on track right now, Will Parrish, working on the 82 of Sebastian Kukulon. His closest points rival, Samit Oskin in the 83. On track right now in the 20th position, so not doing much better than Will Parrish, but still doing better and will eat away at that lead if he stays where he is. 20 laps to go here in the Keystone Foods 400. We're just a quarter of the race left here at the Monster Mile. Watson slides wide again, but Collins is not really gaining anything at all. He gained 500ths there that time. We'll see if the trend keeps up. If Collins can close back in on Watson. We've been caution-free so far through the first 62 laps, but the action has been almost non-stop here at Dover, all throughout the field. But now Watson trying to fend off Mitchell Collins, who slips to a 0.71 second deficit to the 53. Meanwhile, back here, it's a massive battle going on. Miles stretches away for third, Creed trying to hold off Miller for fourth, and Harrison and Stapleton, they're going to go at it for, I believe, that's sixth. Up front, the gap's still staying about the same. Watson is not catching Young. Collins is not catching Watson. Creed going to slip up a little bit on Andrew Miller. Miller going to go to the inside. This is for fourth place, and an easy pass by Andrew Miller. The top three separated by 5 seconds. First to third is 5 seconds. Collins, 0.7 the last time through. This time, 0.81. Collins may or may not have used up his stuff. And a lot of battling going on even deeper in the field here. Buck on Rosero on Lewis. He's going to get a 2-for-1 there. And Kanan Biller, the defending champion, trying to look on Eric Monaco, not quite going to get there. Checking back in up front. It is over a second lead now for Benny Watson, trying to cruise home here at his home track for his third win of the season after a bit of a doldrums since Martinsville. Kind of like how things went after Daytona. Won the race, didn't exactly do anything spectacular after that, but then won at Martinsville. Hasn't done really anything that noteworthy since then. In fact, he has lost the points lead. Fallen even outside the top 5 in points, but still inside the top 10. And now just trying to cruise home and play it as safe as he can. 12 laps left here at Dover for Benny Watson and Team Velocistar. Watson, the only Velocistar driver to win a race this season. Miller is in fourth, chasing down Owen Miles, as they are slipping back big time as well. Watson seems to be the only one in the front 10, the top 10, with any speed right now, as he continues to pull away from everybody. Coming about this time, 10 laps to go, and there's a bunch of slow cars in front of him. Will it matter, though? Collins slides wide behind. The handling obviously going away on that 59 Dodge. Harrison came down the pit road in that 91. Now we're looking at 9 laps to go this time. Watson got around the 84 of Nathan Smith. Smith in 37th place. And something happened to Samit Oskin in the 83, who was 20th. He's still on the pit road. Big problems for the 83. looked like he was going to have a solid run, eat away at Will Parrish's points lead a little bit. Well, not anymore. Parrish is up to 24th even. Well, it's not going to be a great points day for Parrish. Certainly better now because his closest competitor having some serious problems now in the later stages of this race, and it's a piston failure on Samet Ozgen, and he is out of this race. And Will Parrish can breathe a little easier now. Watson can breathe even easier. He doesn't even need to push it hard. He's just trying everything he can to put as many lap cars between him and Mitchell Collins as he can. Collins, he might have a problem with his 59. He is still slipping backwards. Obviously, they didn't get an adjustment right there when they came through the pit road this last time through. Everyone else completely missed the setup, but Benny Watson, 5 laps away here at Dover. Count them, 5 laps to go. Collins almost up into the fence there, coming out of 4. Looked on the outside of Harrison. Harrison might actually be the fastest car on the track right now. Of course he is, just having come off the pit road. Of course he's the fastest car. We'll see where Will Parrish in the 0 is. And there he is in the Sprite colors. 23rd on track, chasing down Keegan Thompson in the 46. The gap between first and second closing in a little bit. Kanan Biller down onto the pit road in car number 95. Some cars we might see having to come down the pit road. 3 laps remain here in the Concrete Canyon. A 3.11 second gap. I never thought I'd say this coming in. Benny Watson is leading with 2 laps to go with a massive lead over Mitchell Collins. And while the first half of the race was high octane action, just completely just balls to the wall crazy, the second half of the race since the pit cycle has been a little sluggish, I will admit. But Benny Watson doesn't care. He is now a lap away from win number 3 on the season. Just one of the most impressive things I've seen in my time of doing NR 2003 races. It was at this point in the season, in Season 2, trouble on the outside, but it's not going to matter as Watson comes around off of turn number 4. He's going to get win number 3 on the season here at his home track. Benny Watson wins the Keystone Foods 400 at Dover. I was just going to say, it was at this point last season that Nick Kennedy earned his 3rd win of the season. It was actually probably race 12, actually. It was either race 11 or 12. But right at this time, this is race 13. And it was race 12. It was at Pocono. Kennedy had his 3rd win of the season. Watson, having a better season than Kennedy did last season, he has his 3rd win of the season now. And surely with this, will eat away greatly at his deficit to Will Parrish. And a caution-free race here at Dover, Delaware. That's always good to see. Let's take a look at the rest of your finishing results here. Benny Watson wins ahead of Mitchell Collins, Trey Smith, Andrew Miller, Owen Miles, Christopher Reynolds, Beverly Creed, Ben Crouch, Roy Ribbleton, Brad Stover. That is the top 10. We'll take a look at the rest of your finishing results here. 6 cars finishing at least 1 or more laps down. Ben Young looked like he went up into that outside wall there after contact with somebody. He looks like he finished a lap down too. Samad Oskin, last place finisher with a piston failure there. Tough break for the driver, that 83. But that's going to wrap us up here at Dover. Hope everyone enjoyed the race. Congratulations, Benny Watson. You are a 3-time winner in the Cabela's Cup Series. And I almost forgot to mention, 4-time winner on the Trinity River Network. He's the first one to win 4 races on the Trinity River Network. So that deserves a round of applause right there for Benny Watson. Congratulations, my man. You're a 4-time winner and the first one to do it. You lead the all-time Trinity River Network all-time wins list. We'll take a look at your driver's point standings after this, your owner's point standings, and wrap it up here at the Monster Mile. Again, congratulations to Benny Watson. And until the All-Star race next weekend, y'all have a good one.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.